You say that Gen Alpha, kids born after 2010, are the
Yeah.
first generation raised by certainty machines, meaning phones and tablets that never challenge them. How's a dad who's leaning on the screens, somebody
Mhm,
who is genuinely like on that screen all the time,
mhm.
able to still function in this world and build from that position?
Turn the damn thing off. Yeah, one
That's
of the
it.
one yeah, the biggest thing that a parent can do with a child is just to be present. We've got all the data, and we know this. A child can see a parent every day, two-parent household, and that child can be hindered in psychosocial, emotional development. But we can have a child that's in a divorced home. Child sees a parent every other weekend, but the time spent is quality. The child has the parent's undivided attention. The child and the parent are collaborative in terms of going out, cooking, practicing a sport, just having fun, talking, riding a bike. Well, longitudinally, when we go and look back at that child, that the child that had the quality time over the quantity of time does far better in every aspect of life. So when you start talking about a screen to screen household, the thing that the child is not learning is parental modeling, because the modeling is coming from TikTok, coming from Instagram, or whatever their social media platform preference is. And you notice the dysfunction is really early. I saw a kid in a mall, true story, freak out when mom said, "Give me that," and she took the kid. You know how they make that little iPad, but it's a child's version, the
Yeah.
kind that's made with thick plastic that you can
Yep.
drop and get wet, whatever. And that kid started screaming and hit the parent and all this kind of stuff. Thank God that child wasn't born when I was a kid, because man, your grandmother or mother would have tore you up. But the um, the thing was, the kid had a better relationship with the device than it had with the parent, is where I'm going with this. We don't want that to happen. We want our children to associate fun with things that require engagement. And I'm not talking about eyes to screen. I'm talking about instead of watching whatever anime character ride a bike on this little iPad, why don't you take your kid outside and let them ride a bike in real life, and you ride one with them? And as we disconnect from these surrogate parents, which is what that is, and you actually start parenting your child and interacting with your child, spending quality time listening and talking to your child, making them feel seen, making them feel safe, making them feel special, you will move in a direction and creating a functional human being that understands how to be collaborative, how to negotiate even disagreements and trauma, rather than someone who self soothes with something that never challenges them back, but entertains them instead.
Studies show that 75% of young men that are struggling from, mental challenges
Mhm.
are are not willing to talk to their parents about it. How much of that has to do with the way dad models feelings?
It's a hell of a lot. Little boys, typically between ages 2 and 4, they're trying to get cues in the environment through observation, and they're identifying with gender, especially with gender more than anything else. If I have a 2-year-old son, a 3 or 4-year-old son, and I'm a dad and I get mad because I saw something on whatever your network is, Fox, MSNBC, and I show anger and the wrinkled brow. Well, I want to take you a step preceding that. A child's first language is learned in vitro, meaning they're still in mom's womb. In a normative pregnancy, the mother is going, "Oh, ooh, you kicking me," right? And daddy is rubbing the tummy saying, "Yeah, how's my baby?" Then the kid comes out. The kid recognizes between like 9 to 18 months that I'm safe if the tone is soft, if it's non-threatening, and it builds slowly. But that child also learns that if the tone is harsh, if it's abrupt, and it attacks quickly, I'm not safe. Now, between 12 months and about 24 to 36 months, that's this kid's first relationship with shame. The stuff that, hey, oh, you went to the potty,
Yeah.
or, the kid's 6 months old and, oh, you stink. Now, that same kid that didn't make it to the potty and messed up their training pants, and then they get scolded, and again, that tone is abrupt and it's loud and it's threatening. Well, that is setting up the expectation for affirmation. And when dads don't affirm that kid in a healthy way, they're doing, because you're either affirming the kid or the exact opposite, right? Second part is the interaction. Now they imitate what they see dad doing. And I saw it was funny. I saw this little clip on one social media site, and this little boy was playing with this one of those little electric trucks that he could get in and drive. Now this kid had to be Scott. I think the kid was like 3 or 4 years old. Oh damn it! I can't find my. And he was cussing. And
Yeah.
my it must be the carburetor. And he had to hook it up. And I laughed at it, but it's not funny if that kid is learning how to hit his little sister because daddy's hitting mama. It's not funny if that kid is abusing animals because daddy kicked the dog. So, what we have to think about as fathers is, it's not what you show your child, it's not what you tell your child, it's what you show them. If you want a healthy kid, be a healthy dad.
That's great. Now, look, you could be Dr. D or you could just be a man here, but I'm curious because this is something that I see a lot and it bothers me. What you saw in the store with that kid in the iPad,
Hmm.
I see every day. I go to church every Sunday and I
Yeah.
see the lack of accountability. I
Yeah.
see the inability to correct children or discipline them in any way. I see a weakness in fathers.
Yeah.
Weakness I haven't seen in generations. It's a unique thing, and it's challenging because I often say to myself exactly what you just said a few minutes ago, which was, if you were around in my time or my grandma's time, my grandmother would maybe go out and get the switch off the tree. I'd
Yeah.
have to pick it and then
Yeah.
come in and she'd tell me it wasn't good enough, and then I'd go back out and get another one, and she
Yeah.
loved me like you would not believe. But
Yeah.
I just wonder what's the happy median. The because I feel like there in some ways we shift a little too far to this um what they call gentle parenting.
Yeah,
And
that's the worst thing in the world.
yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I grew up in an environment when children got spanked, but they didn't get abused. And more than likely, they didn't. They got chastised, but they didn't get abused. People perish for a lack of knowledge, so they haven't been taught. Okay, what is reasonable? Well, reasonable isn't balling up your fist and punching a 5-year-old in the face. Reasonable is grabbing your kid, getting down on your knee and say, look, and now I'm going to tell you why. Because if you punish a child and they don't know why they're being punished, you might as well not have punished them because they're going to resent you. Well, one thing about the human condition is we somehow know right from wrong. Good example, you do not have to teach a child to lie. You don't. They'll do it on their own. They do it because they fear consequences, right? So if you can work with your child and say, I remember my dad would say to me when I was a little boy, he would say, You tell me the truth. He said, now you may or may not still be in trouble, but you damn well gonna be in trouble if you don't. And I would sit and make a conscious decision. And I was never scared to tell my dad I broke something, I did something stupid, because I knew that he was gonna put himself in my shoes, rationalize it, and and see, when you got a child that's thinking about, let me have some foresight rather than do stuff in hindsight. Well, how does the child even learn that if you don't teach him that? Second thing, there's a little boy at my church. It's funny, man. This little dude, uh, his mom will snatch him up, and he's like, "Oh no!" Drag him out, and this happened like Sunday after Sunday, to the point I would go to church like, "What's he gonna do today? I can't wait to see her snatch his little ass up." Right?
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, the boy doesn't have a father in his life, not that's present. Because if there's any time your child should be around a dad, is to go see him worship, to see his father have a respect for something greater than himself, right?
Yep.
But if you are, well, I'm going to go even further. In my practice, I don't always try to keep people together. That's BS, because I'd rather see a child with two divorced parents that are not rolling their eyes and mean mugging and fighting and cussing. I'd rather see that and have a child have two healthy parents raising them that give them quality time and attention. So where I'm going with this is, men don't we underestimate the power that we have over our children. Typically, when we go through a divorce, because the court system is weaponized against us, we get punished many times because we pay alimony and child support in some states. And then in laws and friends are influencing the parents to do anything but co parent and respect each other, because the relationships is over. Now people are trying to pick a corner and weapon and glove each other up, which is not a good idea. But you didn't divorce the kid, you divorced the woman. And it's very important that we realize that we're the front line in terms of what a man is to a little girl or to a little boy. The things that we demonstrate in emotional regulation, having a sense of awareness around psychological safety, and then more than anything else, setting a foundation for spirituality, self efficacy, self awareness, modeling kindness, being compassionate and empathetic. If you as a man don't possess those things, why in the hell is your child going to take ownership of something? Because what you didn't give them, they don't own. And if you don't own it as the dad, it's okay. That's why people like me exist. But it's never too late to become a better man, because if you become a better man, you'll become a better father.
So YouTube has this cool feature where they pick the next video for you, and it's right here on this screen. So I hope you enjoy this next video.